Have you ever watched a movie and thought, there's no way that backdrop is real? Well, it might be. If you're watching Star Wars, The Shining, or Indiana Jones, today we're heading into the wild to uncover the national parks that have been featured in iconic films. Welcome to Pop Culture Passport, your ultimate guide to quirky and cool destinations across the US. I'm your host, Beth Scalacci, aka the Roman Yeti, here to help you dive into the world of theme parks, uncover film and TV locations, and explore quirky museums, roadside attractions, and legendary venues that capture the heart and soul of this unique country. So grab your pop culture passport and let's discover destinations that resonate with your interest, not just with what's trending on social media. Are you ready? Let's roam! Welcome back. When you think about national parks, you probably think about hiking trails, dramatic landscapes, and maybe even a few bison. But did you know that many of these parks have also played starring roles in some of Hollywood's biggest movies? In this episode, we're diving into the scenes and the stunning natural settings that made them unforgettable. Whether you're planning a trip or just love a good behind the scenes detail, this one's for you. So grab your hiking boots and your popcorn. We're going on a cinematic adventure through the U.S. national parks. Now, why does Hollywood love using national parks? Well, it's because national parks offer something that sound stages and CGI can't quite replicate: the scale and the authenticity and that raw natural beauty. I mean, imagine the towering redwoods, the wide open deserts, the ancient rock formations. They just don't provide a backdrop, they help tell the story. Now, filming in a national park isn't easy. There are permits to acquire, regulations to follow, and environmental precautions to take seriously. But for certain directors and cinematographers, it's worth the effort, and there's no alternative. And sometimes the real magic of a movie comes from knowing that what you're seeing isn't special effects, it's a place that you can actually visit. So let's explore some of the most memorable national park film locations and the movies that brought them to life. So, our first stop is the Redwood National and State Parks in California. I mean, imagine a weaving through a dense forest on a speeder bike, dodging giant tree trunks at lightning speed. That unforgettable chase scene on the forest moon of Endor in Return of the Jedi, it was inspired by the real-life redwoods of Northern California. Now, while most of the filming was done in a nearby private forest to avoid all those permit restrictions we talked about, those towering ancient trees of the Redwood National and State Parks gave Star Wars fans their first glimpse of life beyond Tatooine and Hoth. And these parks preserve some of the tallest trees on Earth, many over 300 feet high. And walking through them truly feels like you've landed on another planet. These are some of my favorite scenes from any Star Wars movies. I just the speed and them weaving in and out of those trees. It was really great. I love that they did some of the filming in a private forest, but among those real redwoods. Next up, we are heading to Death Valley National Park in California and Nevada. We just talked about Endor, and I mentioned Tatooine and that dusty desert home of Luke Skywalker, and it wasn't just filmed in Tunisia. Several of the iconic scenes were actually shot right here on the U.S. in Death Valley National Park. So the park's otherworldly terrain with salt flats, sand dunes, and canyons really made a perfect fill-in for a galaxy far, far away. Locations like Golden Canyon and Dante's View were used for scenes where R2-D2 and C-3PO were wandering alone in the heat and sand. It's one of the hottest, driest places on Earth, and it really delivered that endless horizon feel that made Tatooine so memorable. For our next stop, picture a winding mountain road with a solitary yellow car snaking along its curves, framed by jagged peaks and deep blue water. That eerie opening sequence of The Shining before things get really unsettling, was filmed on going to the Sun Road in Glacier National Park. The road itself is a marvel, carved into the side of the mountains and only open seasonally due to snow. But built in the 1930s, it offers breathtaking alpine views, and in Stanley Kubrick's hands, it became the perfect visual metaphor for isolation. The drive to the fictional Overlook Hotel is haunting, not because anything scary happens, at least not yet, but because it feels so alone. Next up, we head to Monument Valley. Um, and while it's not technically a national park, Monument Valley is managed by the Navajo Tribal Park and has played a huge role in shaping the cinematic vision of the American West. Those towering sandstone buttes rising from the red desert have been featured in countless films, most famously John Ford westerns like Stagecoach and The Searchers. Ford returned here again and again, using the land almost like a character, vast, wild, and unforgiving. You might also recognize the stretch of road where Forrest Gump ends his cross country run. He turns to his followers and said, "I'm pretty tired. I think I'll go home now." That moment was filmed on US Route 163, framed by those epic buttes of Monument Valley. Next, we head to Hawaii, to the tropical, volcanic, and dramatically remote Haleakala National Park on the island of Maui. It has this rugged, untamed quality that was perfect for an Indiana Jones adventure. So while Kingdom of the Crystal Skull isn't everyone's favorite indie movie, the scenery is undeniably striking. Parts of the park stood in for South America jungle terrain during action scenes, and the landscape's volcanic craters and bamboo forests add visual drama. Haleakala's summit, known as the House of the Sun, sits above the cloud and has sunrise views that look straight out of a fantasy film. We have actually, this is one of the places on the list we have been to. The sunrises here are amazing. To see that sun rise over the clouds, it really is something special. You drive up there in the dark, so you're not even sure what you're gonna see, and just the light hitting the volcano and it's really something. If you go, you might want to pack a jacket, which seems counterintuitive for Hawaii, but you're up pretty high. It's chilly. Or ask your at the desk for an extra blanket. We see many a hotel blanket up there. Next up, we head to the Arches and Canyonlands National Park in Utah. Do you remember that unforgettable opening sequence of The Last Crusade with that young Indy in a Boy Scout uniform racing across Red Rock canyons to escape treasure hunters? Well, that was filmed near Moab, Utah. Arches and Canyonlands National Parks provided the cinematic backdrops with their towering sandstone arches, deep canyons, and fiery desert colors. These parks have been a go-to for adventure films for decades, offering that classic American Southwest look. You'll find formations like Delicate Arch, Mesa Arch that look like they were sculpted by movie set designers, but they're all natural. Now we head to the Badlands, which are wild, layered, and a little alien looking. This landscape of jagged buttes, eroded gullies, and colorful rock strata seem like it shouldn't exist on the planet, which makes it perfect for filmmakers. In Dances with Wolves, the Badlands serve as part of the sprawling frontier backdrop, highlighting that isolation and beauty of the Great Plains. Later in Armageddon, the park appears briefly in a training montage, standing in as a rugged surface to simulate asteroid landing. The park's name says it all. It's dramatic, a little foreboding, and totally unforgettable. Now, here's a few extra bonus spots. Yosemite National Park was used as a background shot in Star Trek, The Final Frontier. In one particularly memorable scene, Captain Kirk is seen free climbing El Capitan because, of course, he is. Grand Canyon National Park appears in National Lampoon's Vacation, Thelma and Louise, and more. And the canyon often symbolizes a turning point, whether comedic or dramatic. Mount Rushmore is featured in North by Northwest and National Treasure Book of Secrets. It's where fiction and history collide, literally carved into stone. So, if you are inspired to visit some of these locations, remember that while some are marked and celebrated, others might require a little extra research. Park ranger stations and official websites can be a great source for movie filming info. Please be sure to respect all posted guidelines, stay on marked trails, and leave no trace. These places are protected for a reason, and the best way to celebrate them is to enjoy them responsibly. Also, please don't taunt any of the animals. I don't want to see you on the news. And if you're hoping to recreate a cinematic moment, maybe not the asteroid landing, try visiting in the early morning or golden hour for that magical lighting directors love so much. There's just something magical about standing in a place you've only seen on screen. It bridges that gap between fiction and reality in a way that makes us feel like sort of more alive. The film just feels alive. For me, I really want to go walking through those redwoods again and imagine Ewoks peeking around the corner. And I think that's what I love most about these destinations. They carry stories, some ancient, some cinematic, some personal. And when you walk through them, you become part of these stories as well. So for this week's pop pick, it's for you Marvel fans like me. And as you're listening to this episode, the brand new Marvel's film, Thunderbolts, and by the time you're listening to this, I'm not spoiling too much because Marvel has already spoiled it. Thunderbolts slash New Avengers. It was filmed part of that was filmed right in the heart of Utah's Red Rock country. And while it wasn't filmed in a national park, the production took place in Emery and Grand counties, which was near Moab. And it's the same stunning desert terrain that you'll find in places like Arches and Canyonlands National Park. So, it still has that cinematic vibe and stuff going on. So that's another place you can check out. The area's dramatic canyons and open highways really made it a perfect setting for a certain high-speed car chase sequence in the movie. So if you're heading to Utah this summer or just watching the movies, you'll get a glimpse of our Wild West landscape for sure. And with that, we add another stamp to our pop culture passport. I hope that this episode inspires you to get out and explore all that is quirky and cool, even in your own backyard. Please follow, download, and subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. Tell a friend, leave a review if you like what we're doing. It really helps the show grow. You can also follow me on Instagram or Facebook. Just search for The Roaming Yeti. Remember, keep roaming and finding your fun.